And then, but also the bartender guy wanted me to look for Ophelia's sister and the guy
Yeah, yeah.
because they're missing. Or I don't think he knows that she's with the guy. I found that out from Ophelia.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for the sister, and they were last in the forest or whatever. And then I went back into the forest, and then I found that building that where it had guards that were rotating around the building, and there were
Okay.
people with hoods going inside of like a portal door or something like that.
Okay, yeah, yeah, all right.
And then one of them came out. Well, I tried to get in, but I couldn't get in because I didn't know how to operate the door.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but then one of them came out, and I followed them, and then they ran away from me, and then I think I cornered them or something, and then they were. And then I don't remember what the conversation was, but I ended up killing them. I,
Okay, so now you're like, are you standing over the corpse now? What are you like? Is
Yeah,
Ophelia
I think
still
there's
with you?
people. I think she ended up trying to call people before I killed her. So I think there's
Okay.
people coming. But my plan was to take her uniform and put it on me.
On his neck, that
I
fade
think it was a
away.
woman. Just saying, it doesn't
Okay,
matter
it
that
was
much.
a
But
lady.
yeah.
And the tattoos on her neck fade away as as her last breath, she takes her last breath. And yeah, that's it. The hood and her clothes look like very embroidered and like kind of high class.
Mhm.
But other than that, she doesn't look particularly special. But you haven't like searched her body or anything, so you don't know what she's carrying.
All right. Costume time. I try to disrobe her. Obviously not in a perverted way because I don't have those thoughts. And I try to take on and put on her clothes.
Okay. You remove her clothes. You notice that
Don't make that face, Drew.
underneath the cloak, she's wearing like a normal
Clothing.
cotton tunic and like just normal like pants and stuff. But you just put on the robes. You also notice that there's a variety of pockets inside the robes that contain various documents. One particular document catches your eye. It is a recipe for a healing potion that is particularly effective against venom.
Oh, cool. What are the ingredients?
The potion requires a specific wildflower that grows in like kind of like watery, like near lakes and stuff, and also requires um, a, um, a special powder from a stone that's also found near those environments. So, like, you got to get a special stone and a special flower that grows in watery lake areas. It's hard to say exactly what the name or exactly what it looks like. It just gives you the name, and your foreknowledge tells you it's around water. But a potions master would be able to give you more specifics on exactly what. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's that water shit. Okay. Um. Okay. Well. So,
All
but
right.
she still has like a rope. Oh, is that the timer?
That's the timer. So as you contemplate your next
Okay.
moves, it's Drew's turn.
Okie dokes. Man, killing slaves, disrobing poor dead women.
Poor.
Yeah,
She was
she's
wealthy.
pretty wealthy. She's pretty
Were you
well off.
listening?
Like vulnerable, not poor as in like.
How dare you?
Can a corpse be
Slander.
vulnerable? I guess that's like.
But the dead slave was accidental though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't kill anyone.
You blew that
I'm
bubble
a
in it.
hero. I'm a hero.
The slave that
Hero,
died.
Bro, admit it, you're just like me.
No,
I killed a slave too.
I'm worse than you. I do it on accident and naivety.
Wait, Drew, you killed a slave before?
No, actually, I never killed slaves.
I killed a slave.
I kill them all the time. Here's some for
It's my
free.
pastime. What I do for fun. Okay. So
All right. So last time, I had gone to Niven Marketplace, gotten 15 arrows, and had some uneventful talks with some mercenaries about how they're trying to fight the Niven barbarians. But after that, I was about to leave, but decided to eat at a restaurant because I was hungry. I ate a stew, then got a night's sleep for a silver, and now I'm walking towards the swamp. As I was walking towards the swamp, I came upon 3 people. They haven't noticed me yet, but I see them. It's like an old man in robes, a woman mage, and a man with sword and armor, and they seem to be like training fighting, where the old man seems to be like the master, and the woman mage and the man with sword and armor are fighting the old man.
you notice them continue to fight. They fight for maybe an hour or so until the old man sort of holds up his hand and calls it like done. The training session is done. They stop their training and they sit down for a nice picnic in the afternoon sun.
Let's see. I look closely at trying to identify who they are or where they are from based on their clothes and their appearance. Do they have any tattoos on them?
From this distance, you can't tell for sure, although the styling of the clothing is very different from the Niven you have encountered previously. No robes. The lady is wearing sort of a light gown. The man is wearing armor that is completely different coloration and styling. And the old man is just wearing a, it's kind of like a tunic, like just a very simple tunic and trousers. The old
Okay.
man is shorter and has like kind of like one of those Asian beards, like long Asian beards.
Okay. Okay. So I approach them with my hands up, open like this, and say, "Hello, I'm hungry. May I join you for your picnic?"
Immediately, the 3 of them tense up, unsure of who you are or where you came from. Although the old man seems like to easily become relaxed again, seeing no direct or immediate danger from you. The
Uh-huh.
old man gets up and walks towards you and says, how may I help you, stranger?"
Um, I am simply adventuring through these swamplands. Um, looking, looking to find a friend. Uh, and I happened to pass by, and I was wondering whether you would be willing to share some food with me in exchange for some stories.
The old man looks at you and gives you a once over, trying to. It looks like he's assessing your abilities and the danger to him and his friends. After a few moments, it seems to determine that you are no danger to them, and offers and says, "Why, that sounds ideal. It's always great to encounter a friendly stranger while on the road. Uh, of course, you may join us for a supper meal right now. We have not too much to offer, although you can have our tea and our steamed dumplings."
That would be lovely. I follow him towards the picnic that they have and sit down.
You settle down, you notice that the fire that they have is very like it's like a very well built fire. There's almost no smoke coming out of it. The logs, although recently cut, seem to be completely dried through some magical means, and so there's no smoke coming out of the fire. It's very neatly organized and burns very efficiently. There's a split over it that holds a pot in which a bunch of dumplings and other vegetables are being cooked.
Okay. Wow, this looks delicious. My name is Namick. I'm from a faraway kingdom. Um, and I simply came to this island on the request of my king to explore, to get to know the people, and report back to my king. Um, who are you guys?
The old man doesn't answer as he's busy with the fire. Although the young lady seems very interested in you. The other guy
Wait. Interested how?
interested, like as in like you're a kind
Oh,
of a
okay.
curiosity, not like
Okay.
trying to bang you. Just
Okay.
you're like a strange new curiosity that she hasn't explored yet.
Gotcha.
Um, the old man doesn't answer, but the lady says, "We are just three friends who, or no." So the old lady says, or not the old lady, the young lady says, "We're here on this island to trade, but eventually we'll go back to our lands and reclaim them for our own." She seems very naive and young, and possibly the old man seems a little uncomfortable with what she's saying. Perhaps she's revealing more information than she should. As the young woman says this, the old man gives her a stern look, and she sits back down, refusing or not talking further. Although she consistently glances at you, sort of furtively. Okay.
All right, recap of my play. Shuriken and I defeated the demon. We came back up the tunnel. I got a reward from Asulan. I was looking for a long distance and convenient weapon, and she originally gave me Light of Orin, but she added a feature of being able to shoot it like a little beam sound. So that's what I have. I separate my ways with Baron, who is Shrikhan, and I am trying to head back to where John and Christian is by the swamp entrance with Rose and Sylvanna.
Sylvanna. So the three of you make your way through the swamplands, noticing after a while that you enter an area with a lot of various types of frogs, various sizes, various colorations, and various features. Some of them are large, some of them are small, and you realize that this is probably the area where you will find Christian because he was looking for a specific species of frog in order to perfect his hardened snake skin armor.
Okay. They should be somewhere around here. And I just go like this.
You begin looking around, and although you don't find them directly, you remember your past experience with meditation and seeking out what's around you with something more than vision.
Where do I sense John the most?
You sit down and meditate for a little bit, and you very quickly sense his presence several, maybe half a mile in a northward direction.
I'll just go where I sense him. I think John is this way.
The three of you, you get up from your meditative pose, and the three of you walk towards where you think John is. As you go there, the environment begins to shift a little bit with greater numbers of small ponds and
Yuck.
more and more the ponds are kind of connected with little rivulets between them, and there's small fishes in there, and it seems like a much cleaner environment than the one that you have just left, with more creatures and sea life and water life and things. Within a half an hour, you approach the area that you had sensed John. You sense that he's very nearby, and yeah.
Do I see John? I was like, where is he?
You look around, and you hear a sudden rustle within the bush in front of you, and John appears, looking kind of apprehensive, and he turns around. It seems like he was just urinating, and is now kind of putting his dick away, but he's also kind of surprised and he's trying to pull out his weapon at the same time. And then he notices the three of you. He recognizes you first, and then looks behind you and recognizes Sylvanna, and his jaw drops in shock as to seeing her here.
Well, take your time and put your penis away. This is what I tell John.
John ignores you and rushes towards his two sisters, embracing them in a big hug, and the three of them kneel down on the forest floor in a teary but happy reunion.
Okay, look what I got for you. Do I see Christian?
As you move off to leave the family to their conversation, you sense Christian a little while away. It seems that John was protecting Christian as he did his work. Christian has a bag of red frogs, the internal sacs of which he has collected for his crafting needs.
Nicely done, Christian.
Christian says, thank you, sir. I can craft maybe one or possibly two pieces of armor from what I have collected here today.
And his research was the poison sac weakens the snake skin or something?
His research was that the frog sacs have a substance which allows the leather to retain its hardness even after its origin. Like when the snake dies, usually the leather decay. But using this substance, the leather will retain its strength indefinitely, and will it won't be able to repair any damage to the leather armor from like combat or anything, but it will keep the leather strong and hard after the snake that.
It's like a little coating. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nicely done. And then I approached to Sylvanna, Rose, and John, and I asked them, "You got what you wanted. What's your next move? What's your next plan?" Whoever answered.
After they have reacquired, John says neither of them have none three of them have like any real thoughts or plans about what they want for their future. They're just happy to be together. Sylvanna says, you've brought the three of us together, and because we're unsure about what to do, for now we will stay in your company and in your service. What would you have us do? They're very grateful that you brought them together again after such a long time, and you saved Sylvanna, so they are indebted to you. They feel indebted to you.
Well, obviously, I don't think John, Rose, if you guys don't want to be mercenary anymore after Uppsala, not so great feeling towards Uppsala. So I figure that's not what you want to do. But I just go like this. I was like, I met Mito here last time I was here. Maybe he can show up here. So,
Sylvanna says, I don't know who Mito is.
Oh, Mito is my colleague back in Jushin days. So I just go like this. His portal came out somewhere here last time, and I just end my turn like that.
Okay. With that, it is now
Andrew's turn.
So yeah, you said that she had a tattoo as well.
Yes, she had, and now that you've taken off her normal clothes, you can see it more clearly. It's a tattoo that begins in her neck and extends around her shoulders and down her sides. It's very flowery and intricate.
Like, does it seem like it's just a tattoo that she had personally, or is it some sort of?
Before you killed her, the tattoo glowed briefly.
I'll be right back.
And then stopped glowing as soon as she died.
Oh, some sort of magical tattoo. Does she have anything else on her that I just missed?
So as you rifle through her belongings, the only other things of support aside from small like personal missives, letters and things within her various pouches in her jacket or in her hooded thing, is a couple of small elemental orbs. These are very rare magical items that, when broken and a command word said, they will release whatever elemental magic that are contained within. The two that she had were wind elementals, elemental orbs, and when they're broken and the release word said, they will release the wind that is contained within them as a gust.
But I don't know the release word, or is it like pretty standard?
They're rare enough that you don't know it personally, although
Okay.
a master of elemental magic or some shopkeeper may or may not know.
Gotcha. Okay.
You also
Well,
don't know. You also don't know. Like, it's well known in the world that breaking them will release what's inside, but it's not well known if that's the only way to use the magic within the orbs. If breaking
okay.
them is the only way.
Gotcha. Well, I feel a little guilty for this encounter, so I kind of pose her like those French girls, and then I continue back to.
What do
I
you mean,
continue.
like you like arrange her corpse?
Yeah, I arrange her corpse. Like,
Jesus Christ. Okay.
my
Um,
character's weird. Okay, he has no
leaving,
remorse.
leaving.
Anyway,
Okay. So, and then what happens?
this is before rigor mortis sets in, so she'll be stuck. That's her end pose.
Okay. All right. Just
Um,
the sexy corpse. All right.
yeah, and then I head back towards that building. My hope is that I can so because I saw groups coming in and out. I'm hoping that I can kind of just like join it. Like if you were like in high school, you might want to try to join a group. Just pretend like you're part of them. It's kind of the same thing. And
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
get into the club.
Yeah.
Like
All right.
that's my plan. So I'm like waiting in the bushes or something.
Okay. So, as you put on the hood, the one main thing that you notice is that the hood is not just purely like um just a physical hood, but also seems to be emitting an aura that hides your face from, unless people get real close to you,
Oh,
really see your face, which is why it's difficult to make out the face of people under the hood. It's not very powerful magic, and if they get close to you, they will be able to tell who you are. It's unclear if this is adequate to blend into the crowd.
okay. Um, I'm
So
just gonna wait till there's people, I guess, though.
you wait for people. You wait about an hour and a half, after which the building door opens, and some people exit, but none are coming back into the building.
uh,
The three people that exit all move off in separate directions from the building. Two of them head towards the tavern together, and then one of them heads towards the grasslands for purposes unknown. The one that heads towards the grasslands is not hooded, but is armored, like previous armored members of this group that you've encountered. But the two that head towards the tavern are hooded. They seem to be making great efforts to hide their presence and are sneaking off into the jungle, not following like the actual roads that are there.
hmm.
They're like trying to not have people see that they're there.
I've already killed one hooded person. Why not more? I'll follow those two hooded people. I'll just.
Uh, so you notice that they go towards the tavern area. They're not, but they're not like in the actual buildings or near the buildings. They're kind of in the outskirts. It's unclear if they're headed into the tavern itself or if they are headed deeper into the grasslands. So if do you just follow them, or do you like sneak up on them or something, or
Um, I'll sneak up on them and be. I'll try to pretend like I'm one of them and just say like, "Hey, I forgot something in that building, but I forgot the password. Can you help me get back in?"
as you approach the group, before you can speak a word, they turn around and seem to know that you are there. You notice that the glow of their tattoos is visible faintly as they turn around, and before you know that they can see you, they sense you because they turn around at your direction when you're behind like a tree and says, "Stranger, I know you're there. What can I help you with?" One of them.
I'm new, and I totally forgot something in that building back there. But because I'm new, I forgot what the password is. I'm just trying to. Can you just help me get back in,
The
brother?
man, the man that's said to talk to you first says, um,
Love Andrew's character.
"What is your designation code?"
Yeah, man, I'm new, and I just don't know.
As they as they
Obviously, I don't laugh.
as they begin to probe your identity and question it, it's Drew's turn.
Andrew, I recommend just turn around and running.
I ain't no bitch.
Or bubble them.
Bubble. That's the only option. Continue forward or bubbles.
I'll do the. You can do the catch thing. You can try to like. Get
Hey,
catch.
catch!
He should be like
Multiple people, everyone catch them.
All right, don't rob me. Just here, just take my money. Here, catch.
Oh, then you lose all your money.
No.
No, you just
No,
go back
just
to
go.
their dead body,
No.
take the money, and then pose them like French girls.
But the
Alright,
Interesting
We've
stuff.
been wasting
Okay.
Drew's time.
No,
Give
no.
Drew
no,
time.
it's
Yeah.
fine. It's whatever.
We'll start. I'll start right now. Okay.
Okay. All right. So she's telling me about how she wants to return to her kingdoms to win the lands. Then the old man sort of silences her with his thought, with his like act, like I don't know, what do you call it? Just silences her. And then I sort of know with a look, yeah, and I sort of notice it, and I just ask, "What are your names?"
Um, the girl says, "My name is Kang Wall," and she points to the guy that's sitting kind of idly and not minding anyone. Says his name is Heyman.
Oh, I know them.
Wait, isn't that your dad's name? No, come on, never mind.
There's
Kangwall,
Kangwall,
and Hewall.
Heyman.
So, okay, Kongwal,
And
Heyman,
Hemun.
and who's the girl?
Girls
The girl is
Kangwall.
Kangwall. The guy is
Okay.
Heyman. And you notice that she conspicuously leaves out the name of their older master.
Okay, okay. Okay, and then I look at the older master and ask him, "What's your name?"
The old man looks at you and says, "My name is Horatio."
Okay,
Interesting.
cool. Okay.
And you guys, the four of you, eat for some time in peace. And after about an hour of the meal, Horatio begins to make some tea and offers you some tea as well as the four of you relax and drink some tea.
Okay. I say I would love to. At a time trying to start conversation, I ask, I saw you guys were training earlier. what brings you to these lands?
At these words, Heyman's eyes light up, and he says, "Oh, training is amazing. We are perfecting our sword technique as well as our magical enhanced combat abilities. You see, we focus exclusively on using the power of magic to strengthen our bodies and our agility and our speed, and we are increasing these so that we can take on hordes and hordes of enemies single-handedly."
Wow, that sounds amazing. Um,
He says,
wh-
we are a class known as the Arcane Warriors. Class of
see.
Warriors. The Arcane Warriors.
Okay. I am a sort of fighter where I come from, and I have some experience with using a dagger. I would be interested in having a small training duel with one of you, if you'd be willing.
Heyman immediately jumps. You notice that Heyman kind of side glances his master, seemingly asking for permission. Imperceptibly, the master gives a little nod, and Heyman immediately jumps up at the challenge and gestures to you to come to the dueling arena, which, as you approach, you notice is a cut area of grass outlined by a circle of white. And he says the challenge is to get the other person out of the circle without using any weapons. Just kind of like a wrestling match.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, like a sumo wrestling kind of thing.
It's just like, I mean, that's like the rules of.
Yeah,
You
I
just gotta
gotcha.
push them out thing.
Okay. Okay. So as I'm standing in the ring with Heyman, I size him up and assess whether what he looks like compared to me, taller, bigger, or smaller, shorter.
Heyman, as the evening approaches and the stars light up, Heyman takes off his armor and his sword and stuff and puts them on a neat pile. He's now wearing his normal tunic and no other armor and like trousers and stuff. He his frame is light and thin, but extremely muscular with hoarded muscles all over his body that seem very powerful. So he's not like heavy and huge, but he's like thin and strongly built.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So I go into a wrestling position and begin to approach him within the ring.
You approach him. As you approach, you notice that Heyman has taken no stance at all and is just calmly watching you, just completely unguarded.
Okay. Okay. I hesitate based on his lackadaisical position, but then decide to do a feint where I act like I charge, but then stop out of his immediate range.
Heyman makes no move to stop you as you charge at him and stop right in front of him, kind of.
Okay. Okay. At a distance that's about like I guess 1.5 arms length away, I now stand in a crouch position and just stare at him for 20 seconds or so. Anticipating his moves and just tensed up for a charge.
As you stay tensed up towards a charge, you notice that there's an almost imperceptible change in his stance where he's still kind of standing unguardedly, but like kind of bends his knees a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe you can start dancing.
Throw him off his game.
He'll distract him. Yeah.
Okay. At the 20 or 30-second mark, I act like I relax slightly right before I charge towards him, intending with a pushing motion to knock him backwards out of the ring.
With incredible and sort of unbelievable godlike speed, he moves out of the way and uses your own body weight and momentum as he shoves you in the back of like just under your neck and pushes you out of the ring with almost no effort on his part.
God damn it, Heyman.
And with
Okay.
that, embarrassing loss is now constant.
Okay, so where was I? I was just having a conversation with John, Rose, and Sylvanna. I was just looking around if any portals pop out. That this is where where I saw Mito last time, because that's where that's when he showed up. I assume he'll show up at the same spot.
As you wait for some time, no one shows up, even though you mentioned his name several times.
Yeah, what they're trying to do, Rose, Sylvanna, and John, is they are trying to reunite Jushin with other dynasties, and maybe you can be a key founding member, since Uppsala has done you so wrong.
They say it would be nice to help build something for a change rather than be the spear point that destroys for a corrupt empire. But I know nothing of this Jushin or this Mito that you speak of. How do I know whether to trust him and his people and his mission?
Well,
Sylvanna seems to be talking for the three of them. Then she says this to you.
well, that decision is up to you. I'm just suggesting an option, but I don't see them here, so I guess we can look into that afterwards.
She says that's a.
I'm just suggesting, just throwing it out there, Sylvanna.
She says, "All right, fine with
Okay.
me."
I say Christian Elks.
Christian, as if on cue, says they're already here, Master. Although, how many people are there? 5 people is too many for these 3 elks to carry. 2 of us have to walk.
Who can walk? I only have how many elks do I have?
3.
3. Let's see. Christian and I ride one, and the Rose can get on one.
Okay.
And John, Sylvanna, you guys, are you guys okay with walking?
John says, that's fine with me. I'm a little disappointed, but at the same time, this will give me a great opportunity to catch up with a sister I haven't seen in many years.
Yeah, man, John, you rested all this time while protecting Christian, unless something happened.
They said, no, nothing undue happened. It was very relaxed the whole time, and it seems like you guys fought a great battle. So.
Yeah, man, Rose and I fought a demon off, and we can use riding an elk, and Christian is weak as fuck, so he has to ride one.
Christian takes slight offense at this as he looks kind of disappointed that you called him weak as fuck, but he gets on the elk all the same.
Well, Christian also has a lot to carry, all these frog sacks. So.
True.
Trying to be fair,
so
man.
The 3 of you get on your respective elks and begin to trot towards the camp, Terrell's camp. The journey is about a day long, and you begin your motion.
Yeah, I just try to move downward on my way out of the swamp, and then I keep wondering, why don't I see Mito?
As you wonder these things, as nighttime falls, the sky clears up and you notice that um, you particularly notice the volcano this evening as the night clears, and you notice that the amount of ash and orange glow that's emanating from the top of the volcano is much greater than.
Okay. That is weird. I don't know what happened. Christian, why is volcano more orange than usual?
Christian says, "I don't know. I imagine whatever magical process or powers are down there are increasing in strength or increasing in output."
Maybe, and then I turn to Rose and say, maybe Grodd is growing in power.
Rose says, "God grows in power every day. We have denied him a unique and valuable servant, but it does not mean that he is stopped forever. He is a powerful and intelligent entity and will find other ways to break through into this world with his minions."
Okay, well, it's getting dark, so we should find a midway and try to set up a camp.
The other two agree. The kind of the way the landscape works is that right in front of the island, between the swamp area and so the grasslands are to the south, the swamp is to the east, and the camp is to the west. And in the middle of these three is like kind of the foothills of the volcano, and there are basically barren with a number of small tunnels coming out of them. It's unclear whether those tunnels are safe, but they are protected from elements.
So is that a good spot or a bad spot?
It's unclear. There's no vegetation here.
Yeah, let's head downward more and camp
I
there.
mean, you know for a fact that the grasslands are colonized by the snake people, and I don't know. So anyway,
yeah, just avoid grassland, I guess.
So do you guys set up camp in the?
The tunnel out area.
Yeah.
Or is there any way I'm still in the swamp, but then still just not avoiding that area?
Well, you guys were on the sort of the outskirts of the swamp previously as you left, so you can set up camp there. It's like maybe like a few hours out from.
Where's Druth?
Druve is like so like the swamp is kind of a circle, and like you were like maybe here and you there, and Druve is like out here on the other edge.
Maybe I should go see Druth.
Yeah, come see me.
So
Drop by.
Well, I'm gonna face towards that direction and set up a camp for the night.
You set up camp on the outskirts of the swamp, and with that, it's now
Ender's turn.
Yeah, so I'm trying to explain to the guys, like, look, I'm really new. I don't even have a tattoo yet. You know, that flowery stuff that you guys get. I don't even have that yet. I just left my keys at that place. I just want to be able to go home. I'm not trying to have any trouble. Yeah.
As you continue to speak, the two of them glance at each other and start to part ways as they like start to circle you. One of them asks,
Jesus.
one of them asks, "Who is your master?"
It's getting hard. It's John. It's John.
They look at each other and says, "I didn't know John took a new master recently." You notice
Apprentice?
yeah. They didn't know. They said they say, "I didn't know John took a new apprentice recently." As they say this, you notice that the glow of their tattoos diminish slightly, as their aggressive stance becomes slightly less.
Yeah, no glow, no glow. Um, yeah, um, yeah. I've been with John recently. Thanks for understanding.
They say, I know that you're new, but your master is the only person that can allow you entrance as you complete your training. I don't know why John has brought such a new initiate to this highly sensitive mission. It's highly unusual. What is your purpose here?
Like in the group.
Like on the
Right.
island? Like, what's your purpose on the island?
John said that I had a lot of potential, and that's why he was allowing me into these special meetings. Um, but honestly, right now, I really just want to get my keys. Like, is there any way we could just get my? I won't come back there anymore. I promise. I just really need my keys.
You are the key.
My keys to my house.
No, they said these exact words. That you are the key. But
Oh.
you need your master to activate your key.
To my house.
They seem to you guys seem to be having a disconnect where they say this is highly unusual. All initiates must know the proper protocols, and you seem to know none of them. What is so special about you? Why have they brought such an idiot to this island who could compromise the whole mission? Right now, they seem more stern and angry at the situation and less just disbelieving of your, So it's like it's not that they don't believe you're part of their group. They just are kind of angry at the situation. They're kind of like upset office workers at this point, just angry.
Yeah. Politics. Yeah, I gotcha. Office politics. Well, I don't know. I'll just wait out there ranting. I don't know. Yeah, man, I hear you. Working with people's hard.
They say one of them sighs a long-suffering sigh and says, "All right, follow me." And then he motions to the other guy to continue wherever they were going. And then the guy that says, "Follow me," starts walking towards the building.
All right, I follow him obediently, happily, trying to hold my excitement.
So you follow him. As you walk, he says, "So, what did they tell you about your mission here?"
They haven't even given me all the details. So, I mean, I know you're surprised that they let me in the meeting and stuff, but they've been really secretive to even me. But they seem to think I have some potential.
When did you get on the island?
Like 2 weeks ago.
So he says, "Huh, the 2-week shipment was just supposed to have resources. They were supposed to drop any people off. That's weird."
Say that again?
They said he says the shipment 2 weeks ago was only supposed to have fuel and resources and documents and stuff and courier messages and not they weren't supposed to drop any reinforcements or actual people off.
Well, it was actually I wasn't brought here on ship to be part of the group. John approached me and I just happened to come to the island by myself. John approached me. We met in the tavern, and he saw my abilities. And
What access point did you use for the island? What do you mean by myself? You had to have
this fucking
the
question.
access point. This is highly unusual. This is highly. I know John. I know John is the supreme leader of this particular mission, but this is highly unusual.
I don't know. Maybe John's just making up the rules. I don't want to shit on John. I don't know anything about John, the whole office politics here, but maybe John's just doing what he wants to do.
See,
maybe you shouldn't be talking about John so much.
He looks at you and he says, "See, this is the problem when we have the prince's son run an entire operation. They just think they can do whatever they want because they're blessed by the gods, and it's just some bullshit.
Hey man, I'm on your side. Honestly, I mean, it sounds like kind of ridiculous. I'm not trying to break the rules. I'm new. I don't know anything. But hey, if you can just show me the ropes, I'll try to do whatever I can do to not make things awkward for you.
Wait, just give. Wait. He says. He says. He says.
What is?
He says. He says. Okay, so hold on. So he says. He says that's fine. That's fine. I just get upset because he just fucking John thinks he can do whatever he wants because he has Olam's blessing. And he says, but it's fine. I'll help you get started. I'll give you a little basic tutorial.
Okay.
Oh, Jove.
Holy shit. Holy shit. So many questions. So many questions. How did I get through that with the brain of a child?
And so with that is Drew's turn.
I feel disheartened from my recent wrestling loss to Heyman, and look back at him angrily and regain my composure, and then say, "Wow, you are quite fast. Have you been wrestling for a long time?"
Heyman slaps you on the back heartily and gives a great hearty chuckle and says, "Yes, my whole life. It's not surprising you lost to me. It's fine. I've been practicing for moments like this my entire life."
Okay, I say, well, we shall have a duel another time. In the meantime, let's go back to our tea.
Cockily, Heyman says, "We can have one right now, and I'll give you a handicap. You can use any weapon and any magic you want, and I will still defeat you handily."
Okay, then I say, let's put some stakes on it. What will I get if I beat you?
Heyman says, "I'll give you a glimpse of the power that you can attain through proper training."
I say, fine. Let me go put on some armor.
Okay. So do you put on your normal clothes or you put on like your?
You're fast.
So I put on the speed of the ostrich armor.
Oh.
You put on your ostrich armor. Any other equipment that you want to take or anything else?
And I take my hookah pipe as well.
All right.
Okay, and I guess I take my dagger as well, but I equip it to my back. I don't have it in my hands.
Heyman says that so as you go and do your equipment, Heyman in the meantime has gone and talked to his master, and he's now come back and says, "I have a better offer for you. My master has given me permission to offer these two rewards in exchange for two specific victory conditions. One, if you can land a blow on me, my master will give you a very specific helm that you can put on that will greatly expand your mental capacity far beyond what it is now. And if you can actually defeat me, my master will craft for you. He's an expert blacksmith, and my master will craft for you an armor so powerful that none will be able to stand before you in single combat."
Okay. I say, very well. And the rules are the same. If whoever gets pushed out of the ring first loses.
He says yes.
Okay.
Although now there's a second rule that if you can land a blow on my body, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I walk into the ring again with my armor, my dagger, and my hookah pipe at my side.
Your
And
armor invigorates you with great strength and power and speed.
okay. I start to smoke my hookah pipe a little bit, creating a sort of a diminutive smoke cloud within the vicinity of the ring.
As you inhale the laced smoke of the hookah, you begin to notice that one effect you hadn't before, which was that with the armor on, your mind is racing because of the power of the armor, but the smoke from the hookah decreases that effect slightly so that your mind is back to its normal speed. But your
Okay.
regular speed is the same, like your movement speed is the same. You're just not, your thoughts aren't as racing.
Interesting. Okay. So I keep relaxedly smoking, but tensed up and watching him at the edge of the ring until I see a smoke cloud that has sort of reasonably formed within the vicinity of the ring. At this time, I'm observing what he is doing.
As the smoke cloud forms around him, you standing as well. Although a moment later, you notice a shift in the smoke as so you don't see him move, but you just notice a shift in the smoke as his body rushes towards you at incredible speed.
Okay. I drop my hookah pipe and I simply rush directly at him, forwards with my hands up. Something like this.
You rush towards him. The speed of the ostrich armor um, enhances your vision and enhances see his movements, but only just that. You can before you weren't even able to see him move, but now you
Mhm.
can see him move as kind of a blur. But you can't, even with the ostrich armor, you can't see his actual like arms move in like any great acuity. You just see a blur moving towards you. Um, and as you approach him, he does the same move where he rotates around really fast and pushes you in the back. This time you don't fall out of the circle because you were kind of in the middle, not at the edge,
Mhm.
but you stumble forward in the smoke.
Okay. Okay. As I stumble forward in the smoke, I get up and immediately start running sort of laterally along the edge of the ring.
All right, we'll just finish this battle. As you run laterally along the edge, he stands in the center and observes you not moving.
Oh shit! It's an anime fight.
He observes you not moving.
No, he's standing in the center of the ring, and I'm running around the circle around him.
I think you have to hit him with unexpected angle.
You gotta use Hidden Lotus.
Probably on the top or on the bottom. That's where
Okay.
I'll attack.
As I'm running along the edge of the ring, at a time that maybe his glance seems to not pass by me, I fill my hand with some dirt from the ground. At this time, I'm also hoping that the effects of the smoke cloud seem to have perhaps dulled his senses and his speed by just a little bit less than his godly speeds. Um,
So wait, so okay, keep going. Sorry.
Okay. So yeah, I grab a little bit of dirt in my hand, and then at one point in time, when I feel like I sense an opportunity, I take an immediate right angle turn and charge at him once again.
What angle do you charge at him from? Behind, back, or front, or forward, or side, or what?
Oh, well, I assumed he was turning to face me. From directly from his back.
No, he's like standing still, and he's just kind of rotating his head.
Okay. From directly from his back.
So in the moment where he has followed you to the back and turning around to follow you from the other end, in that single moment, you rush towards him. As you approach him, uh, like as you get maybe like a yard behind him, he suddenly jumps up into the air, does a backflip, and lands behind you, and does the same move where he pushes you in the back.
Oh shit!
This time you don't
We need
stumble
music.
forward expecting the blow and hold your ground, just kind of like like the force is still strong and it pushes you down, but you don't stumble. You're still in control of and in balance.
Okay. So at this time that I stumble and I'm able to counterweight the push he did behind me, I turn around and throw using my rotation the dirt into the general vicinity of his eyes.
You turn around and throw the dirt. He is not expecting the dirt because he was turned around when you picked it up. Although he sees it and he attempts to avoid it, and but he instead of kind of crouching down or like avoiding it that way, he just moves his hand in front of his face. Momentarily, he is blinded because his hand is in front of his.
Punch it.
Okay. At this time, I charge him again. Aiming low and crouching down, aiming for his waist to simply knock him down, sort of like flying at him in a football tackle motion.
Just punch his balls.
He doesn't make any move to stop you until you get to the point where his eyes, like where he's doing this, but like as he sees you coming under, he sees your hands coming under him. His speed is so great that he moves out of the way, and with his other hand shoves you, like attempts to shove you towards the ground.
Okay. As he's moving out of the way, so he sees my hands like this.
Like under, so he's like this, and you're like coming under him towards him, and he sees your hands like approaching his waist, and like his reaction speed is so hard that although he can't see in front of him, he can see below, and with his other hand, he like tries to push those hands away.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I go from like a this into a intending to tackle motion and move my hands, or at least my right hand. One is intending to grab, and the other one is just a fist, going straight at his waist.
So he, with his one hand, blocks the fist and throws it aside, and but he doesn't see the other hand because his eyes are covered, and so the hit from his other hand that hit your fist was so strong that it shoved you out into outside of the ring, and he looks up at you after you've fallen out of the ring. Not your whole body, just your like ankle is out of the ring, and he looks at you and says, "I win again." From behind, however, the old man slowly claps like this and says, "Young Heyman, did you not notice his other hand slightly touch your thigh as he fell?"
Oh, so Drew won.
How does Heyman respond?
Heyman looks down and sees that your other hand that wasn't the fist is slightly touching his big toe, even though your foot is out of the ring. and he says, he looks kind of mortified that he allowed this to happen, and sulks off angrily.
And then
Okay. All right. I recollect myself from the edge of the ring and I am fairly neutral, and I simply go back towards my equipment, take off my armor, and put it back, and then go towards the camp, intending to see whether the elderly sage intends to reward me, but not pursuing the reward.
As you settle yourself down, is the end of your turn.
all right, final turn of the day. Okay, so we redirect our path, avoiding the grassland, and I guess kind of closer towards
So
the
it's now you slept for the night. Now it's like morning.
Okay. So I guess I'm still closer to the direction where Drew is.
Yeah, so you can kind of walk around the edge of the swamp and approach him if you'd like.
Okay, that's what. So Drew's time, was that the day or night?
That was night. So
Okay.
like if you approach him now, it'll be like 12 hours after what has just transpired.
Okay.
Or not 12, maybe like 6 hours. Let's say like 6 hours. hours.
So maybe Drew slept off after the duel.
It's hard to say. It hasn't happened yet.
I mean, I think you can approach that area, and then by that time, whatever will have happened, and then we'll probably meet.
Okay, I'm gonna try to meet Drew.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna.
As you head off, Rose and Sylvanna and Rose and Christian say, "Where are you going, sir?"
I am trying to avoid the grassland. And
But you're going back towards the swamp. I thought we were going back to Terrell's camp.
are we? Or did I pass it?
No, you haven't passed it. You're like kind of so. Oh shit. So the way it's structured is that there's a volcano in the middle, and then the swamp is here, and the camp is here, and you're like right in the middle. And so now you're going back towards the swamp and around here where Drew is.
Try to. I'm gonna head back to the camp.
Okay, the three of you begin your trek towards the camp. It is now early morning, and you notice as you walk that you are now, as you are heading in front of the volcano, the land becomes extremely barren. The swamp lands have ended, and you notice that inside, as you walk past some of these tunnels and holes that are in the foothills of the volcano, you hear some noises, some clacking, and some like sort of maybe stone tools and things. They echo from deep within those caverns and tunnels. Their source is unknown to you.
Okay. Well, let's not get involved in this. So we'll just walk past it. I don't wanna fuck with it at the moment.
You traverse past the foothills. The trails that are running through the foothills are pretty barren, but some of them interestingly contain skeletons of various species, birds, animals, and a couple of humans. They're completely desiccated and dried and contain no flesh.
Uh-oh. And that's in the cavern?
No, these are like on some random trails that are like, you're following one of the trails as you head through the foothills to the camp, and on some of those trails there's just dead like skeletons that are around.
And is there a sign of lava by them?
There's no lava that you can detect, although the air does have a sulfuric smell to it.
It looks like the volcano from yesterday got up here and killed some of the sleeping folks. What do you think?
Rose says, or not Rose, Christian says, while that's possible, I don't see any evidence of hardened or cool magma. Not that if it came out yesterday, there's no chance that it would have cooled this quickly. Although some other magical force might have exited the mountain that I am unsure about.
So it is possible if it's a powerful source.
Okay.
It is possible because Christian says that. But Christian says that more likely these are from
Sounds
a
good.
series of deaths that happened over a long period of time, not suddenly, because they're all dried and like just bones. It's not like a bunch of dead it's not a bunch of animals that died recently. It looks like a bunch of animals that died a long time.
So it's probably not good for us to inhale this. Maybe it's
probably not.
It's probably maybe a good idea to back out from this area.
Okay. So where do you want to go?
So probably the air is probably not good. So if we walk through it, we're probably gonna end up like these skeletons. So we're gonna back out and we're gonna see what we can do to blow them away. Maybe someone with a magic wind can blow the gas away.
As you walk south away
I'm like
from
this.
as you walk south away from this sulfuric smelling air, there comes a point where it's almost like a rapid transition. At one point, there's sulfuric smell in the air, and you take one step, and it becomes clean air.
Oh damn! All right, I'm a step back and think about this because it is a trap.
So you step back into the sulfuric thing, and it's like a very clear boundary between where it smells like sulfuric stuff and then where it smells like clean air. As you contemplate the mysteries of the island, the end of today's game.
All right, yeah, I think I'm gonna. Well, I'm probably gonna plan to take a step back and probably head back to the swamp, just for just to find a clear passage.
Okay.
Cool.
Maybe by then we'll meet.
Groove, I can't hear you.
Are you mostly headed to the volcano right now?
No, I might head back to the swamp and maybe try to meet you.
Aja.
So you should try to meet me too.
Yeah,
I know you can't
for sure.
handle it.
And I already know.
I
I already know.
I don't understand why you can't admit that it's mad legit.
I think they're new characters, right?
I already know them.
For Groove, they're new characters.
Oh, I see, I see. Okay.
I encountered them.
Yeah, should be interesting.
Alright, I'm gonna start recording.
Listen to the haters, they got nothing but despair. If they spent more time just past the bucket and less time hoping that the rate would plummet, they could live their lives in the spirit of fuck it and tell Weight Watchers they can suck it. Believe me, bitches moaning when they got that chicken on them. Don't blame me, I don't condone it. I'm just spitting facts, not gloating. It's true, it's a classic scene. We out here living life happily. Pass me the chicken, cause I need some more. I'm the dirty chicken lover that you know you adore. I've got the mashed potatoes and the gravy set. Just get those goddamn biscuits or you'll later regret. We out here munching, lying, bitch. Popeye's got nothing, love my bread and don't need stuffing. When doors open, I go running. I stare deep into her eyes as the cashier passes me a bucket of thighs. Pass me the chicken, cause I need some more. I'm the dirty chicken lover that you know you adore. I've got the mashed potatoes and the gravy set. Just get those goddamn biscuits or you'll later regret. This one's for you, Sanders.